Welcome back again to another episode of Tactical Enlightenment. This YouTube channel is dedicated to Bannerlord, all things Bannerlord related, especially advanced field command and battlefield tactics. And I paused right here to begin recording because we are about to clash with this large Battanian force. You can see it's about 2,200 and we have 900 here in our fully stocked Khuzait army here. I say Khuzait because it's probably 70-80% Khuzait troops, complete with horse archers, dark hands, and whatnot. We continue on with this series. This has been a fun side series for me, trying to learn some Khuzait tactics, and as you can see here, we continue to upgrade, so this army continues to get even stronger, which is scary because with the exception of one or two losses, we've been pretty much trucking everything in sight. Now this force, oh, this is really interesting. Look at this. They have 1,500 infantry out of their 2,200 troops and cavalry. In fact, it's a really strange Battanian army, only 200 ranged units. So this is going to be a serious kiting kind of battle here. And look at the javelin throwers they have there. I mean, that isn't a huge amount of javelin throwers. So they don't have arrows, but they're going to have javelins. Meanwhile, of course, we have ranged weapons galore. Horse archers, a huge amount of ranged weapons, and less than 12% infantry in our army. So we'll be doing the kiting. We'll be doing lots and lots of kiting. We'll probably square a cav group as a distractionary force. You can see even our other companions here have loaded armies. And so we are probably favored to win this battle, even though we're outnumbered worse than 2 to 1. Now I'm fiddling around with this. I've been fiddling around with the unit spawn prioritization of late because it keeps giving me highly unbalanced armies. I want to see if this will give me any archers or infantry. Because we have so few Battanian fian champs, it's not giving us any archers. And I want some archers for tactics here. So Zuvan will run the 8th Corps, of course, with his elite stack of bonuses, you know, 330 skill almost across the board, and this huge combat bonus that gets transferred to all the guys in that elite 8th Corps, full of Khuzait horse archers and stuff like that. And it's a really interesting battlefield. There's bridges and all kinds of ridges and midges, I suppose. There's all kinds of shit here. I like this upslope here. I like this as a potential killing zone, especially if we can get some archers up on this platform and kill the enemy en masse right here in the center. But again, looking at the army composition, this is just, it's way too heavy cavalry. I mean, I can definitely block off a lane here, and then I have another attacking cavalry, but I just have so few tactical options with 6 skirmishers and 13 archers, 11 archers. You know, with so many cavalry here, I'd like to have at least a few more other type of units. So I don't do this very often. I apologize for the delay in getting this battle going here, but I'm going to change this. Some people ask what this even means, right? And I'm going to show you. So you saw how few infantry and how few archers. I think we had 24 archers right there. Watch what happens when you change it to homogeneous under the unit prioritization. Look at this. Now I got like 100 archers, and this is going to give us much more tactical opportunity. Archers are really more deadly than horse archers for infantry, at least in the early going, right? Until you know, you need to kite, because they do more damage. Their accuracy is greater. You know, I generally find these guys better against infantry. However, you have to be good at kiting. With horse archers, it's very easy to kite. So this big groups of archers here is definitely going to give us some chances. I'm actually going to set a little bit of bait over here. We're going to have let's see, I think we'll do the 7th over there, so we'll be able to pull those horse archers out. Actually, let's put the horse archers in the 8th Corps uphill here. And what I'm going to do on this right side is I'm going to have basically archers and skirmishers kind of in one of these little nooks where they can retreat across a bridge if they have to. And of course, it'll be enfilade fire if the enemy doesn't really prioritize them, right? They'll be able to cause massive damage shooting the enemy on the side. So of course the first infantry of 4 guys is not really going to matter, and holy shit, what a lot of cavalry that is. They have 350 infantry and 350 cavalry, so this is going to be just an onslaught here. That guy and I both whiffed. Didn't whiff on that guy though. So this cav line here is simply to break up their charge, right? Slow down this huge cavalry charge, try to mitigate their speed a little bit so that we can pound them with our arrows. And you see it's withering archer fire. Right, we probably have 250 or 230 archers in this battle. Now they have skirmishing horsemen, which I'm worried about because they do a lot of damage with their javelins. And we're definitely going to start to kite here. So 3rd Division that was in a shield wall, we're now going to put into a square and start to move it back. Now those archers on that right flank, they can stay there. We're basically sacrificing these guys, saying, okay, you guys, good luck. Keep the enemy busy over here. These guys right here, I'm not probably going to be able to kite these guys out of here. They're already surrounded by cav. But moving our units back, of course, I've got the 2nd Cav following me. The 3rd Cav is already getting hammered. Of course, look at this onslaught, right? So we'll move them into the square and start to move them off to the side as bait. Now we got all these horse archers between the 7th and 8th. Let's start backing these guys off to the sides, right? We want some flanking fire on the enemy. Let's give them a little bit of safety by moving them uphill. The main concern I have is all these javelins, right? Not only, of course, heavy cav, but the enemy has a huge amount of javelins, including units that are both, right? The javelin throwing heavy cav. Those motherfuckers. 1 down, 300 to go. And look at all the skirmishers and javelins flying through the air, right? They're just assailing our troops with javelins. So let's give them a moving target. 3rd in the square, we'll move it off to the side. That'll give our units flanking power. 5th archers are by me. Let's get them up on this high ridge, and let's start moving these archers around so they're not static. Meanwhile, I have the 2nd infantry, 2nd cavalry, and we will drag them around just as an attacking unit. God, these guys are just thick. I'm already down to half health. We'll see if I can survive this onslaught. Of course, they do have some Battanian fian champs at the back of their army, and we'll just have to deal with those guys as we can. Now look at these javelins just raining in here. Let's get these troops out of here before they all get killed. Horse archers that are standing still are dead men to javelins, right? And I can see the death spam. Now this is what I was talking about. Let's get archers up in here. And a horse archer division, that's the 8th, 7th to the other side. And now I think when the enemy starts to come between these forces, they're going to get lethal crossfire. I still have this cav unit running around the square. I'm just kind of hoping they distract. And the 2nd cav, I've managed to bottle myself up here with the 2nd cav. Okay, the enemy's attacking the horse archers. Let's move these guys some more. The other archers are getting up into their pocket. Look at the javelins. It just looks like hail coming down on a bad day in spring. It's just fucking hailing javelins. All right, so archers and horse archers over there. That's going to provide nasty crossfire from the enemy's left. Then we can get horse archers to the other side here. I still have a handful of guys left in the 3rd. There's a few guys left in the 2nd. Look at on the ground, there's 100 javelins. Now, I could pick them up, but we're staying true to form here. We're going to play as a horse archer in this series. Look at their infantry vanguard, too. They've got 300, almost 300 troops right there. So, let's get the crossfire going here. The 3rd Cav Division is strictly a distractionary force. And look at the arrows raining down now, right? The enemy's getting circled. They've got arrows hitting them from multiple sides. Horse archers all the way across the valley, and it looks like they're having a little bit of second thoughts. I mean, can you blame them, right? It's just an absolute hitting their shields. Now, I want them to attack this square because that'll make them more vulnerable, right? As soon as they start attacking, their shields are a lot less effective. On this side, right there, God damn, that was a nasty hit. On this side, right there, weapon hand side, we've got a big group of horse archers here doing major damage. And no matter what, the enemy's kind of fucked here, right? They're not going to be able to close in on any of our units. I can simply move our squares around. Our horse archers I can peel out anytime I want. We just say, on my flank. And now we could start to wrap these guys up from behind, right? We can charge with the 8th Corps. Any of those guys that are heavy cav or out of ammo can now get in here and just start bowling over the enemy troops. You see, they're all just holding their shields up. This is more reinforcements coming. So the 4th and 6th Corps are still alive down there. Those guys are basically fighting on a different planet for all we're concerned. I'm just hoping it continues to provide good enfilade fire at the bottom of this battle. And obviously I'm hoping that they distract some of the enemy forces. But look at the death span, right? It's just a fucking total massacre. And again, they kind of continue to cycle back and forth here, really confusticated about how to get to us. Now, normally when you fight Battania, they have a huge amount of Battanian fian champs, but for whatever reason, In this battle, they just don't, right? And it's to their deep detriment here. Once their cavalry was annihilated, they had no real way to get to our units. This battle is over, right? I hate to be the spoiler here, but anybody watching this understands that these guys can't get to us. Now, they are moving up a little vanguard at the back of their force. But these guys are going to get savage crossfire, right? The other thing we can do, too, is if their archers start to really set up, we'll just run them over. Right, that's the luxury of horse archers. You start to face a lot of Battanian fian champs, and you just drive your fucking cons guards right through them. I can take some shots up here. I can work on my archery skills. Gotta watch out for all the javelins flying through the air still. I still see javelins flailing all over the place. So we'll make them think they can reach these horse archers. They can't. We just pull them back, and we're just going to move behind the enemy here. The enemy's totally frustrated. These guys are all blue-balled. You know, they're scoring some kills because there's just a rain of javelins flying through the air. You're just not going to be able to survive that without some deaths. You see veteran skirmisher killed a cons guard. But we're also doing, I don't know, 8 to 10 times as much killing as we're being killed. Now I'm just going to start circling around the enemy here, right? We're basically swirling them into a big death ball. This helps us avoid some of the javelins, but obviously also it knocks guys around, interrupts them. You're trying to throw a javelin, you get run over. It's the same effect as you try to throw an arrow, right? You lose the ability to throw a javelin. And again, we can just put our units at a distance and let them fire away. The enemy's in a big fishball, tight fishball at the bottom there. We're getting low on ammo, but we're not out yet, right? In fact, I should probably be shooting a lot more. I got 60-something arrows. You got to keep moving, though, right? There's so many javelins flying through the air. Every time they kind of look the other way, I'll bring a horse archer division and just drive it right through them, right? And of course, not only are they causing they're causing charge damage, but they're totally busting up the enemy's formation, right? All these guys are getting knocked around. Battanian fian champs are getting run over. I don't know if we've gotten a single reinforcement group yet, right? We've just completely destroyed them with our initial 200 and whatever troops. Haven't even needed one group of reinforcements. These guys are out of ammo. Fucking charge. With those guys charging, I'm even more compelled here. Look at them roaring into battle. I'm even more compelled here to start charging with horse archers. It looks like we just got reinforcements. All of a sudden, my units are everywhere here. We're going to charge now right through here with all our units because our archers are charging. Right? We got to support these guys. We can't just sit back and watch them get mowed down. Now, the enemy's regrouping here, probably for the second or third time. And, of course, they're going to pay a toll for this regrouping right in front of our horse archers. Very bad decision. They're down to their middle-tier units, Battanian woodrunners and shit like that. Not going to go well for them. With reinforcements, though, here, we will reset, right? We're going to play these tactically correct. We'll play this battle as though it was close, right? As though we intended on or worried about facing more troops afterwards. In fact, before this battle started, I noticed a large Valandian force roaming nearby. Maybe we've got another battle after this, right? So you just never know. The reason to play it tactically correct are many, but the main one is just because it's fun, right? You know, if you were really good at chess, you would try to take guys down in 7 moves, or whatever it is, right? You would essentially sharpen your skill, and that's what we're doing here. The enemy's zerging uphill in a giant wave. We're going to hold fire until they're totally vulnerable, and then we're going to provide an onslaught. And of course, there's educational. The guys that are watching this to learn, you guys hopefully are still learning from this episode. What we're going to do here is we're going to have cav line either in a square or a shield wall right at the edge of the troops here, right at the edge of the enemy troops, lure them into this valley, open fire, charge with the infantry, and then obliterate them with everything. All the forces will attack essentially at once. I got this archer line there. They're probably out of ammo. These guys are definitely out of ammo, or at least a lot of their units are out of ammo. Alright, so enemy pouring into a huge fucking zerg in the middle of the battlefield. So we're going to spread out our horse archers. We want to get crossfire on them. We open fire. and it's going to be just devastating, especially to this middle tier infantry they're sending. Not going to let them actually reach our cav line there, right? They're just holding up a line, holding their shields up so they don't get smoked by javelins. This Horse Archer division we can drag right behind the enemy, right? These guys are all going to be shooting and or stabbing the enemy from behind, and the death spam says it all. All right, these guys are too close. We'll give them the advance command. What that does is anybody who's out of ammo will charge, and the guys who have ammo, of course, will continue to kite and shoot. We can charge with the infantry. We can charge with the cavalry at this stage. The enemy is pretty fucked. A lot of these archers are out of ammo. Might as well just charge these motherfuckers. In fact, the enemy's fully peeling back, so let's get aggressive here. Let's make sure that this is the last wave here. We're just going to pursue these guys now. This is probably a routing wave. You know, most of you guys that play a lot, you guys are familiar with the body language of the enemy. It just goes into this all-out capitulation mode. All their units fucking run for the hills. And we're going to fucking give them a few messages for their leaders, right? Bring more next time. We love your plaid, but you didn't have enough there, fellas. We got some amazing Mongolian throat music playing in the background. I've only listened to a few tracks from this band. It's like the Woo something. I don't know what it is. I'll try to post it in the comments, but it's a badass song. You can only imagine facing a huge Mongol force listening to this in the background. And I'm just getting a little target practice at the end of this episode. At this stage of the episode, I can remind you fellas of all the normal things, right? In this series, Khuzait, I can't hit a single guy with arrows. I'm like point blank shooting it like right between his legs or something like that. So in this Khuzait series, right, we're basically going to be trying to fight unique situations, unusual scenarios. We're not going to try to fight battles that look the same, right? They can eventually start to look the same. Anybody who plays Bannerlord a lot, you get into a rhythm. And of course, as your combat improves, well, hopefully it gets better than my archery, but as your combat improves, right, you start to develop kind of an MO for your army, an army identification, a way of consistently fighting. Well, one of the things I like about Bannerlord is there's varied enough terrain that even if you have a similar way of playing, you need to be varied in your potential skill set. In fact, it dawns on me if I can get that Valandian force here. I mean, it might be another episode, but if we can fight a Valandian force on this same map, we'll try a different approach, right? And we'll try some different tactics, which is all to the same thing. These motherfuckers are starting to attack. Die, you, die, you bastard, he says. All right, you can have an arrow in the back. These guys are dodging like fucking Neo and shit from the Matrix. I've never seen someone move like that before. How did you do that? No, I'm a fucking skirmisher, a volunteer, and I can dodge like Neo. I'm gonna get killed here at the end of this episode. Oh shit, he's throwing his fucking throwing knives at me. They're all trying to stab the Jarl. Fuck you. To your bad haircuts. Fuck you. This guy blocking everything. Alright, I digress. So the point of it, though, is that one of the things that you guys, and I'm speaking to the newer player, the veteran players, I'm sure already have it. You want a nice big tool bag of tricks, right? You want a lot of different tactics in your skill set. That way, no matter what the enemy throws at you, you've got something that you can be like, okay, this type of battle. Let me look at this battlefield. Let me look at the lay of the land here. Speak of the lay of the land here, this fucking spectacular sunset at the end of this battle. But you can look at the lay of the land and come up with a good tactical plan to destroy the enemy, right? If you fight the same way every single battle, then all of a sudden you get an odd battle like this in a really strange environment, it may not work, right? You need to have a diverse tactical skill set. All that is to say, right, come back to the channel on a regular basis. Please subscribe if you want to see more episodes like this. Our Khuzait series here focused on Khuzait horse archer type tactics is going to continue here. Again, I don't know how many episodes. I'm just going to go until you guys tell me, quit fucking making these stupid episodes, you asshole. You guys enjoy these episodes as much as I enjoy a good sunset after victory. Now then, I'll keep making them. But the point of all that, though, is that we're going to try to show different tactics here. We're going to try to give you a big tool bag so that no matter what you face in Bannerlord, or if it gets to PvP, right? If we eventually are playing other players in Bannerlord through a mod or whatever, that you guys will be out there fucking laying waste to the enemy at the end of your battles, going hoo, 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 and just ripping everybody to pieces, right? That's gonna be the legacy, I hope, of all this work and tactics that we're sharing here on Tactical Enlightenment. Is a broad group of you badass tactical enthusiasts out there just fucking mangling the opposition, right? After I'm too old and they take me out behind the woodshed to get rid of me because I'm too old, hopefully you guys take the baton, so to speak, and mangle everything in sight. So with, well, I was gonna say my little end thing here. I am gonna look real quick to see. There was a Valandian force that I saw right before fighting this Battanian force. I think I lost track of them because it's nighttime. I don't know if they went north. I'm kind of checking out the tracks here. I think they went south. And so hold on, I'm not going to give the normal end spiel. I'm famous for both being long-winded, right? I fucking talk too much. Of course, when you're narrating episodes on Bannerlord, here they are. Here these guys are. I hope they come our way, traveling to Epicrotia. Epicrocia's the other way there, Chief. So these guys want some. All right, excellent. So we've got a second battle here. I'm famous for being long-winded, and that's a very strong army. Interrupting myself, but also having long episodes. So we're going to have an extra long episode here today. We're going to engage this Valandian force, twice our size, but you can see they're barely favored in the power level. That's because our army is so elite. We have so many cons guards and whatnot in our army here. They're just barely favored, even though they have twice our number. But I don't give a fuck about that power bar, right? They have no chance of winning this battle. All right, so let's see. It's a very similar spot there. The enemy's in a different location, and let's again. This is what I was talking about earlier. Let's use some different tactics here. Let's get some strafing, side fire on these guys, crossfire on these guys with 2 different archer divisions. We'll probably put the. Let's see. I got the 4th. That's too high up. No line of sight here, but look at this little peninsula over here. So what I can do is I can put the 5th archers right on this in a big long spread line with a little bit of protection, right? 71 archers, and that's going to rake the bridge of troops as they come over it. Now, they'll be highly vulnerable. In fact, I lost some captains here. I think, well, you know what I think happens? They get knocked unconscious, and if they don't have enough health, they can't participate in the next battle. All right, so 3rd Corps here, I probably enlarge this division a little bit just so that it guards that side more. I don't need it to stop every enemy from getting over there, but I don't need those archers charged by 100 heavy Valandian banner knights. And on this side, again, we're going to give cross-strafing fire to the enemy. The 6th Corps right here actually protects the 5th Corps down there as well. Those guys are shooting sort of opposite of each other. Fortunately, there's no friendly fire. I've got 2 horse archer divisions. Over here, we'll have, let's see, I've got the 4th archers. We can, if we have the 3rd over there, we can put the 1st infantry and the 2nd cav over here, and those guys will be good at skirmishing and, of course, plugging up the bridge. And again, down there, I think the 3rd cav will hold out for a little while. If we give them a few more troops, it'll definitely hold out for a little while. That 5th archer division, you can see they're like perpendicular to the bridge, right? So they're going to be pounding the enemy as they come over this bridge. It's important to remember that we were attacked here again in this battle. The enemy must come to us. So the 6th Corps here, good enfilade fire on both sides down at that lower level on here. And the 3rd cav, you know, or 2nd cav, I do this sometimes, and you guys shouldn't be afraid of doing this, right? I just moved the 2nd cav into the bridge. They're now jamming up the bridge, and we're going to dismount them. Now, I'd love to make a big, long line of archers here, but I don't think I can do it. I think the bridge is kind of fucking with the UI. I would love for those guys to be more spread out in a long line. Actually, let's just have them stop right there. That's good enough. At least they could shoot up here. All right, so these guys, their horses are now in the way of the bridge, and what that'll do, of course, is slow down the heavy cav of the enemy, even without a rider. And now I can turn these guys into skirmishers, right? Most of those guys are javelin throwers, Aserai Ferris, and whatnot. Now that I'm on ground level, I can see that my 8th Corps can't really shoot up where they are. They can shoot down there, though, right? We've got this beautiful angle of the enemy approaching us. In fact, this dipshit takes one right in the fucking shoulder. Down he goes. 100 damage, and he died. You don't see that very often. Usually they survive 100. All right, so watch this hail of darts. Of course, the poor horses are going to take a beating, too. But that was a risk we were willing to take, right? Horses are cheap. And the enemy trying to come through here is just absolutely smoked, right? Of course, these shock troops charging must have just, I don't know, had their wife cheat on them with 12 guys at once or something like that, because they're suicidal. Okay, so I don't need the enemy cavalry just charging through totally unimpeded, so I'm going to move a square of infantry right into the middle of the bridge, right? And that'll slow down, just like a keep siege, how much of their cavalry gets through. I want some of their units to get through, but not this many, right? This is way too many heavy horse. And of course, once these guys get in here, they can start to cause carnage with our tactic. But look at the death spam, right? It's just an absolutely fucking screen of green as the enemy gets fucking emasculated here. We just ripped their balls off in this episode. I got this 2nd Corps. We'll back them up because these guys hopefully will throw some javelins. I can kind of work on the guys that are sneaking by here, and the enemy dies, right? This poor guy's trying to swing his weapon. He gets smoked. It's mostly enemy heavy cav in there, but they're still dying, right? They're holding their shields up, but they're just getting blown up down there. Or up there. Down there, actually, those guys seem to be doing okay, but I see some losses, and of course I can't help but wonder, you know, are the losses down there or here? It's hard to tell in a battle like this, right? It's just absolutely, I mean, you talk about a death funnel. Okay, they're starting to sneak more and more infantry through, but we got plenty of levers I can pull here, right? We can charge with all kinds of units. I've got the 2nd Infantry here we can charge with. Hell, I can charge with the skirmishers. I can charge with the elite 8th Corps. Even the 6th could charge here if we need to. But we don't need to yet, right? The enemy's totally surrounding our square here and being completely ripped to pieces. It's a massacre, right? So we're going to start to... what the fuck was that? Something went flying across the screen there. We're going to start bringing the 3rd Corps, the heavy cav, and we'll get those archers, the 5th Corps, backed out of there as well, because we need them here, right? The enemy's main onslaught is clearly here. I mean, we are outnumbered 2-1, so they obviously have a huge amount of troops. But they obviously have a massive amount of troops right here on the bridge. In fact, shit, I just killed my own guy. I think the 5th Corps is getting eaten up down there too. Let's back those guys out of there. I see death spam, and there's nobody in front of us here to be dying, so it's got to be the 5th Corps down there. The enemy is backing off. No, they're not. They're charging with sharpshooters. These guys got impatient. They can't hit anybody probably. They don't have line of sight. So they're actually charging with sharpshooters, which is a bad decision, right? We just open fire again. Charge with heavy cav here. We'll slow down their assault here. I've got all kinds of units behind me waiting to kick this guy's ass if they start to overwhelm the Jarl. This guy's getting smoked everywhere you look. We just suffered another big wave of death, so they are starting to really pick on the 5th Corps. Let's back those guys completely out of that side angle. In fact, you can see what's happening. They're sending archers hard down there. Now, the 6th Corps does have good line of sight, but I think they're focused so much on the bridge. They're not really shooting. All these guys, in fact, are standing here. Shoot those guys. You guys are fucking letting me down here, man. Of course, sometimes it's difficult to have your units shoot exactly where you want. You know, I can't tell them, okay, prioritize these archers this way, right? If this was a real battle, I would just fucking yell in a big booming voice, shoot the other bridge, shoot the other bridge, right? Of course, you can't do that. Someday, maybe we'll get that kind of voice recognition. All right, it's time to devastate the enemy here. This bridge is holding up, and they have a lot of crossbowmen. So we're going to have that 3rd Division hold the bridge, 2nd Division, 3rd Division hold the bridge, and we're going to loop behind the enemy now with horse archers. This is that huge advantage. What the fuck did I run into? A ghost? This is the huge advantage you have as horse archers, is you can just be fucking incredibly diverse in your attacks. We're basically going to ram the enemy from behind here while they're focused on the bridge. Suddenly they're going to have a huge amount of horse archers fucking stampeding through their ranks. The enemy's down to middle tier crossbow. These guys are going to have a very bad day when our horse archers arrive. On the other side, we'll apply pressure, right? So everybody's charging here. I hear you fucking yelling. Ah, you bitch. I hear everybody, or I hear our units fucking coming. We're going to send all those units except the horse archers. Once the horse archers are down here, of course, we'll sweep through the enemy ranks. You could just see their reinforcements pour in. And now we're going to fucking send these guys fucking packing with the message. Tell their men all of your units are going to die. 7th and 8th Corps are charging through. They're shooting, they're charging, they're running guys over. You can just see all the dust as they trample these fucking Vlandians. We'll do the old hold fire charge, and that sends all these guys into fucking combat with their glaive out like me, right? It's just going to be a glaive attacking murder massacre here. These poor shieldless crossbow. I never understood that, right? I understand they're like an upgraded unit, but why would they have no shield? If you got a crossbow and one thing of bolts, are they just too weak? These guys aren't capable? Don't try and tell me that they're not skilled enough to use a shield, right? I know 6-year-olds that can hold up a fucking little wooden shield. Whatever the reason. All right, I'll stop complaining. Not a perfect game, we know this. All right, so there's enough in this next wave with their reinforcements that we're still going to execute some tactics, just like that first battle here. We're not just going to F1, F3. You guys can do that at home. Now, there is a time where F1 and F3 is the best tactical move. Right here, though, it's not. We've got these archers coming through the middle here. We might as well use them. We want to concentrate our units. You notice me putting all our units together. And I know earlier, of course, we specifically took the 4th and 6th Corps and set them on their own. But there was a point to that, right? Most of the time, you want your units together. It might even be better. Let's pull these archers around the other side of this rock so they have a nice line of sight. Position them right here on these ridges. And of course, at this stage, a lot of our horse archers are out of ammo, so what are we going to do, right? We're going to basically drive our guys through like heavy cav while our archers are raking them. Everybody gets to shoot. All of these guys have to come over this ridge before they can even hit our units. I don't know if you guys can see that, but most of those guys can't even shoot us till they get over the ridge. And now that they are, we charge, right? It's time to fucking obliterate these guys. The 8th Corps is going to barrel in here. That's a better angle. You see how they can't even see to our side? Now that they can, we charge. We barrel in here. These guys get shot by 100 arrows, charged by cons guards, and large waves of death are going to result. Now, it's a huge amount of forces still, right? We're still hugely outnumbered, but these are middle tier and low tier troops. We're going to cut through them like fucking Sherman went through Georgia. Incredibly, I've survived these 2 battles. I mean, so far, I guess I would say that at this stage there's very little risk of me going down. But I was on a sliver that first battle. Now, I have that medicine perk. If you don't know about that, if you're a newer player, you must have this perk. You don't need a lot of medicine skill to get it either. And just to finish up the summary here, here's the final move. Now you do F1, F3, right? When you have this kind of a head of steam and they're charging up, archers are charging up like that, charge with everybody, right? Once your units are concentrated, we just charge right in here and they're going to get annihilated. So the perk, I believe, is the very first perk skill line. It's either the first or second. So we're talking the kind of skill you should get within the first, I don't know, 2 months or a month of playing Bannerlord. And you got to choose the right one, of course, but it gives you 30% health at the end of a battle, right? So if you're at half, you're up to like 70 or 80%. And if you're at 0, like that first battle, I was almost dead. Now I got like 30% still, or at least 25% after the damage I took in this battle. Incredibly, the enemy has another wave here, and they're still charging in like they have a chance. So we need to change these guys' mind. And tell them that they should be fucking fleeing here. They're getting cut to ribbons. Guys are getting heads ripped off. It's amazing they haven't routed yet. This is just a situation where what I do is charge with everybody and drag the horse archers, right? If the enemy is going to be obstinate, we don't want to suffer a bunch of losses in this battle. At this stage, actually, we don't have a citadel near us, so I have no way to get reinforcements other than to raid towns and shit. I don't really want to suffer a lot of losses here, right? I've still got more battles in this series, and I would hate to have to run back like 3 weeks and waste my time just trying to get troops. But never mind, we didn't need it. The enemy finally gave up the ghost here and is fleeing. They should have fled before they saw us, like before they heard, as soon as they heard that we were in the neighborhood, they should have all retired to their castle, hung up their fucking little pitchforks here, and become a fucking blacksmith for our future juggernaut empire. Nevertheless, this episode is wrapped up, right? This is a Khonsguard devastating 2 episodes. Of course, we have an elite army, but we didn't face scrub armies here, and we completely devastated 2 armies here, twice our size or larger. You know, another 160 casualties, and we put down 1,300. I'm gaining 1 skill point per fight of archery, right? We're getting a little bit better each time. Companions are leveling up. And we have another glorious savage victory with our Khuzait horse archer force. Alright, so now we'll wrap this episode up. I won't apologize for the length. Some guys like the length, and of course you feel free to X out, right? Like you guys do what you want to do, right? I'm trying to provide content. If you really don't want the long content, in other words, if you would like these 2 episodes to be broken up, put that in the comments and say it nicely. You know, don't be like, you stupid fuck, don't make an hour-long episode. I prefer 15-minute episodes. Maybe you don't have a lot of time, right? Maybe you're a college student trying to major in medieval warfare. Whatever it is, right? Just tell me, fellas, and I'll do my very best to comply. Now, of course, if you like the long content, let me know as well. So please subscribe, please like, comment, all that kind of good stuff, fellas. I appreciate you guys, and I will see you guys next time.